All right, what's up, everybody? We're back. Welcome to the next episode. I believe this is actually official episode 2 of the Last Wave podcast. If you listened to our first one, I really appreciate that. Thank you for your support. Still getting used to this whole thing, trying to speed up the stories, make them flow a little bit nicer, trying to give you the best podcast that I can. So for today, we've got something that's pretty cool. I'm going to start a series on this one. I think you guys will enjoy it. In my search for stories and research over the years, I decided to take a few routes that are a little out of the ordinary. Anybody can go to Google or Wikipedia and look up some stuff to talk about. So what I did, I actually put an ad out on Craigslist to offer help, answer questions, even do a few home blessings. That's just one of the fields that I enjoy. I just put an ad on Craigslist for the state, which is my state of North Carolina, and only in a couple areas. Um, it's ran for about 6 months. I did it last year. I recently started putting it out again, and have gotten even more emails, more contacts with people, and it blew up into something I didn't really expect it to. You put an ad out on Craigslist asking if anyone had paranormal questions, and I never expected to get a reply. If anything, I thought I'd get people who were just being ridiculous. So I was really surprised when I started getting stories from people all over the state, people who had stories from different states, everything ranging from hauntings to curses to psychic questions, things about just spiritual energy, people asking for home blessings, people asking for advice on poltergeist, just things of that nature. I mean, just a wide array of stuff. I've got emails from people who offered to help me, from priests and people of that nature, people that were really into different, new age stuff as well as old school stuff. A lot of people doing ghost hunting, asking me if that's what I did. And, some people asked me if I wanted to join some. That's not really my goal. My goal is to help people who need the help and who couldn't go to family members, didn't want to sound like that crazy person with the aluminum foil hat on, which sadly is a lot of what we get in this field. You'll have people who just can't turn to their friends or their family and ask these types of questions. So that was really my goal. It was driven from just a long life of studying this field, and there was actually a show, Paranormal State. It came on A&E, I want to say. One of my favorite shows back then. It was probably, I don't know, mid 2000s, early 2000s. This guy's from, I can't remember what college, but Penn State, I believe. And they would go out and do paranormal investigations, and they had psychic mediums with them and new age people, different kind of stuff. I mean, they really brought in everything. They even did some Mothman research. So it was really a broad show, and I believe it's the season 1, episode 1. They find this family who had a child who was seeing ghosts. The family didn't believe them, and they were making it their goal to help the boy, help the family, kind of come to a conclusion. And I thought that was just. I rewatched it probably a year ago, and I was like, you know what, that's something I could do, something I could offer, advice and try to help people get answers. So that's what I did. I only put the ad out in North Carolina, and only about half the state, which is the western half, which is my half. So my plan was to dedicate my plan is to dedicate this entire playlist to different stories and insights I gathered through this experience. The ad is still out there, and it'll probably be reposted soon to new areas of the state and maybe even some surrounding states just to get more stories. Uh, I did get some responses from people who just wanted to poke fun. So that does happen. I knew that was going to happen, and that's fine. It is what it is. I can always just not respond to an email. So no worries there. But I had all kinds of stories, and I was able to help some people as well. I think I'm pretty sure I helped some people. First and foremost, I do not make any claim to the accuracy of what was told to me. I am only relaying what was told and what I saw in letters and emails and communications. So that's really all I can say about that. But again, multiple people contacted me over multiple different things. Again, I did say I had a priest who offered me help, which thankfully I have not needed yet. So it'd be very interesting if we get to a stage where I have to call a priest in. So we'll see if that gets on there. Again, I had an email with someone who is studying Hermetic law, which deals with magic and how the whole universe is one, and just way too much to get into in one episode. So I did have that. People study quantum physics, and I believe I mentioned this in one of the previous episodes. And their goal is to tie everything that's paranormal into this quantum physics thing, and how just at that molecular level, how stuff relates to each other. I didn't really follow what the guy was emailing me. It was apparently really intense. Apparently, there's a lot of study behind it. I didn't really contact him enough. I went and read more about the Hermetic law and Hermetic philosophy more than I did the science of it. But that was kind of interesting. So again, you had all kinds of people that were emailing me for help and stuff, and I thought that was really cool. There was a lady who emailed me just to talk about the energy of North Carolina and how weird it was. Now, I didn't really get that email at first, but when you think about it, North Carolina is a pretty crazy state. You've got the ocean, you've got the mountains, you've got everything in between, every kind of environment you could think of, any kind of environment you could want. There's been tons of mysteries in the state, everything from weird cats, you've got your pumas and cougars, that's a fairly normal thing, all the way to Bigfoot in the western part of the state, all the way over to Roanoke Island and the Croatoan civilization. Some of the first settlers that came here just disappeared. Their settlement was there physically, but they just vanished, and no one to this day knows what happened to them. So you have all kinds of stuff. You've got Asheville that centers a little bit more on the naturalist, spiritualist movement, all the way to obviously the cities of Raleigh, where big expensive cities, big towns, and stuff like that. So it really is a varying state, which it's really interesting to learn about what's in your own state and what's around the area as well. So people ask me how to do a seance, how to contact spirits, and those were just like, I had to go in there and tell them, obviously advise them of what to do and what not to do. So those are just some of the few short emails and interactions I've had over the period. I'm like, I couldn't even tell you how many responses I got. It was probably upwards of 30, 40 different responses from different people. Again, people asking me just the most random paranormal questions, but that was my goal. And that's what I was hoping for, is to be able to help people. So over the course of this channel, I hope to gather new stories and maybe convince some of these individuals to even sit down for an interview and join me and actually, talk about their experiences. I also have numerous people, numerous contacts, numerous friends that really do enjoy this side of things and enjoy conspiracies and things of that nature as well. So my goal is, as I grow on this channel, is to get more people in, do Skype interviews, whatever we got to do, get as big as we need to get. But I enjoy this subject. I enjoy getting this out there. That's pretty much it. I know this is going to be a shorter video. This is one of those intro videos to a new playlist. So that's going to be it for today. Keep an eye out for more episodes in this series. I'm going to go more in depth with some of the longer interactions of contacts that I've actually had with people. Sorry I can't really tease any of that today. I did tease some of the shorter ones, like people ask me how to do seances, ask me how to contact spirits. I can go into that a little bit. Basically, people were asking me what they needed to do to conjure or contact spirits. You don't really want to get that question, because you know where that can lead if you don't do it properly. So I had to steer them in the right direction and let them know, if they're not, this isn't some go to Walmart, pick up a Ouija board and hope. If you don't open the ceremony, proceed with caution, and then close everything safely, securely, things can get really out of hand. So I don't ever suggest anybody we all, thought about doing it as kids, going, grabbing a Ouija board and asking questions, freaking each other out. But I think it's been shown, you can look up multiple videos on YouTube of it going wrong for people. So one, I don't remember the name of it, but this girl basically got more or less possessed during the interaction, to the point of the entity came through her and said it's like a little bird. It's like holding a little bird or something along those lines. And that shook me. And from everything I've seen, everything you get on the internet daily that's fake, clearly fake, horribly fake. But that, like, it's just these little teenage girls that are sitting around the Ouija board, and one of them starts to shake, and then she says that it's like holding a little bird, and that I don't know, that got me. But that's why I really urge caution, because there's hundreds and thousands of stories of people messing up and going too deep with conjuring. So keep that in mind if you do try to lend to that side of things and try to find out what's going on the other side. Sometimes the other side can come through and surprise you. It's not all, 1800s mysticism with fake ectoplasm and stuff. I mean, some of this stuff is real, and some of it can come through and can really affect you, especially if your home is not protected, if you're not protected properly. So keep that in mind. There are ways to contact spirits. Obviously, you do have your Ouija boards, but again, seances, gathering of people. Seances are really difficult. Obviously, if one person, you need at least someone who's a sensitive medium, or at least someone who knows spells for contacting and conjuring. So, again, not something to go in lightly. I strongly suggest no one does, unless you do copious amounts of research, figure out what you need to do to be able to do it safely. So, like I said, I had a couple emails on that from people that were just asking, that normal question, I'd imagine, wanting to know how to contact the other side. So it's possible, you can do it, but please do it safely, and do it with some intelligence. Don't just go to Walmart and grab a Ouija board and Barnes and Noble and go grab your how to read tarot and go to work, or don't do anything like that. Make sure you know what you're doing. But that basically covers everything for today. I went a little bit long for an intro video, but I'm still getting used to this. So hope everybody made it through. Hope everybody listened and enjoyed, and catch me on the next episode.